The billionaire's daughter had been unresponsive for 12 long days. Doctors whispered that nothing more could be done. Specialists flown in from across the world had left in quiet defeat. The machines in room 407 hummed steadily, keeping her alive, but not awake. Outside, reporters gathered at the gates, waiting for tragedy. Inside, the air felt frozen. Then she appeared barefoot, thin, maybe 12, her hooded jacket soaked through from the storm outside. She stood at the glass doors, water dripping from her sleeves, and said softly, "I can bring her back." Nobody reacted at first. Nurses blinked, unsure if they'd heard her correctly. When she spoke again louder, steadier, "I can wake your daughter." The entire room seemed to stop breathing. The billionaire slowly turned toward her. "Who told you to come here?" he asked. She shook her head. "No one," she answered. "But, she called for me." And that was the moment everything they thought they knew about family, truth, and the past began to unravel. Before we go deeper, tell us where in the world you're watching from, and what time it is right now. Someone across the globe might be watching at the same moment as you. And remember to subscribe to support this channel as we continue bringing powerful stories like this to life. Now, let me take you back to the very beginning, to the storm, the secret, and the connection that changed everything. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and low rain. Light from the corridor folded through the glass and pooled like a cool ocean on the linoleum. In room 407, machines kept time. A steady, mechanical pulse of beeps, a tiny red LED that flickered like a heart, a slow hiss of air through tubing. That rhythm was the room's only constant. Cassian Vale sat with his hands folded around nothing. He had taught himself to move through grief with the precision of a man who had negotiated hostile boards and hostile skies. Tonight his suit was a ragged shell of composure. His daughter lay beneath a thin hospital blanket. Lena. 8 years old. Skin pale as paper. Lashes that hadn't fluttered in 47 days. Beside her bed, a small white violin case, one worn corner catching light, remembering a childhood that might never return. Outside the hospital gates, cameras circled like vultures. The Vale name was too big to suffer quietly. Reporters whispered into microphones. But none of that noise could penetrate these walls. Inside room 407, 5 specialist teams had come and gone. Credentials longer than sentences. Formulas that meant nothing. Charts that showed everything and explained nothing. They'd left behind one sentence. Spoken softly and then abandoned like a confession. "We cannot connect the circuits." The word irreversible hung in the air, unspoken but present, a curtain waiting to fall. Then the door opened. Late. Raining. Steam rising from the floor. No one expected anyone. A child stepped through. No shoes. Hoodie soaked, heavy with water. Face carrying more certainty than any doctor had managed in weeks. She didn't knock. Didn't ask permission. She walked forward like someone entering a place she had every right to be. Nurses blinked. A doctor's pen stopped mid-note. Cassian's grip tightened on the chair's armrest, knuckles white, breath caught. The girl looked at the bed. Not at the machines. Not at the charts. At Lena. "Who is that?" someone whispered. The stranger's voice cut through the room's held breath, simple, immediate, impossible. "I can bring her back." Time fractured. The machines kept beeping, indifferent, mechanical, unchanged. But the room shifted around those 4 words. Grief and disbelief braided together. A nurse's hand went to her mouth. Cassian leaned forward, caught between hope and the weight of 47 days of disappointment. Outside, a camera clicked, distant, hungry. No one applauded. No one embraced. No one moved. Just that sharp, suspended second, when futures rearranged themselves like dominoes waiting to fall. The girl stood perfectly still. Water dripped from her sleeve. Behind her ear, barely visible, a small crescent-shaped scar caught the light. The room held its breath. And somewhere in the machinery's rhythm, something felt different, not the beeps, not the numbers, but the air itself. As if possibility had just walked barefoot through a locked door. Cassian's voice came out raw, fractured. "What did you say?" The homeless girl looked directly at him. Eyes older than her face. Hands scarred in that quiet way that speaks of survival without asking for pity. She repeated it. Slower this time. Each word a stone dropped into still water. "I can bring her back." The machines beeped on. The rain continued. The world outside kept turning. But in room 407, time, which had been counting down, suddenly, impossibly, began counting toward something. 5 minutes. The words hung in the air like a sentence. A miracle. Just enough time to expose a fraud. Cassian gave his consent with a single nod, the gesture of a man who'd already spent everything and had nothing left to protect. His voice came out flat, hollow. 5 minutes. That's it. Nurse Marta moved with the careful economy of someone who'd seen desperation dressed as hope too many times before. Her eyes measured the stranger, thin arms, scarred hands, the kind of roughness that comes from sleeping on concrete and gripping life without permission. The girl removed her soaked hoodie slowly. Deliberate. No theatrics. Beneath it, a worn t-shirt hung loose on a frame that had learned to stay warm through winters that didn't care. Zara. That's what she'd whispered when the nurse asked. Just one name. Like it was all she had. She knelt beside the bed. No chanting. No grand gestures. No closing her eyes and summoning spirits. She simply placed her hand, small, cool, impossibly calm, on Lena's forehead. Like checking if a candle was still warm. The machines continued their indifferent rhythm. Outside, cameras murmured. Inside, the room filled with the audible sound of doubt, a throat clearing, a pen clicking, someone shifting weight from foot to foot. Minute 1 passed like glass. Cassian's jaw clenched. His hands gripped the armrest until the leather groaned. Every second felt like a coin dropped into a well, disappearing without echo. Minute 2 stretched thin as wire. A nurse glanced at the clock. Another checked the monitors, same flatline readings, same mechanical pulse, same nothing. Zara didn't move. Her palms stayed steady. Her breathing stayed even. Then minute 3. The smallest movement. A finger. Lena's left pinky finger. It curled. Not much. Barely anything. A twitch so subtle it could have been imagined. But it wasn't imagined. Nurse Marta's hand flew to her mouth. A doctor leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Cassian stopped breathing entirely. The finger curled again. Slower this time. Deliberate. Like a question being asked from somewhere deep underwater. "Did you see someone started?" "Quiet," Marta hissed. The room inhaled and held it. Zara's expression didn't change. No triumph. No surprise. She looked like someone who'd expected nothing more than a possibility and gotten exactly that. The monitor beeped on. Same rhythm. Same numbers. But something had shifted in a way machines couldn't measure. Something that made the air feel lighter, the silence feel louder, the impossible feel suddenly, terrifyingly possible. Minute 4. The finger flexed once more. This time, the hand followed just barely. A tremor. A whisper of movement. But movement, nonetheless. Cassian's voice cracked. "Lena?" No response. But the finger stayed curled. Present. Alive in a way it hadn't been 47 days ago. A nurse checked the monitors frantically. Vitals are the same. Nothing's changed on the readings. But her hand, another nurse whispered. "I see it," Marta said quietly, firmly. "I see it." Minute 5. Zara lifted her palm slowly. She didn't look triumphant. Didn't look desperate. She looked like someone who'd done what they could and then stepped back into the shadows where they belonged. She rose to her feet. Water still dripped from her jeans. Her eyes met Cassian's once, just once, and in that glance was something unreadable. Not pity. Not pride. Understanding. Then she turned toward the door. Wait, Cassian's voice broke. How did you? Zara paused. Didn't turn around. She heard something, Zara said softly. Something she remembers. What? What does she remember? But Zara was already moving. The door opened. Rain and fluorescent lights spilled in. And on the bed, barely, impossibly, Lena's finger twitched again. Alone. Without touch. Without explanation. The monitor beeped steady. The machines kept time. But the room was no longer the same. The questions started immediately. Who was she? Where did she come from? How did she get past security? Cassian's team moved like sharks sensing blood. Background checks. Camera reviews. Anything to explain what couldn't be explained. The head of security pulled up the hallway footage, fingers flying across the keyboard. Got her entering at 11:47 p.m. She just walked through the east entrance. How? Cassian leaned forward, eyes burning. That entrance requires keycard access. The security chief rewound the footage. Played it again. Then again. His face went pale. Sir, you need to see this. On the screen, the hallway. Empty. Fluorescent lights humming. Time stamp rolling. 11:47 and 23 seconds. PM nothing. 11:47 and 24 seconds PM black screen. Complete digital void. 11:47 and 26 seconds PM the girl. Already inside. Walking toward room 407 like she'd always been there. 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds of footage gone. Erased. Swallowed into electronic darkness. Technical glitch? Someone offered weakly. Our system doesn't glitch, the security chief muttered. It's military grade. Redundant backups. This shouldn't be possible. But it was. The black void sat on the screen like a wound. Like reality itself had blinked and missed something it wasn't supposed to miss. Cassian stared at the missing seconds. His hands trembled. Show me where she walked. The maintenance crew found them first. Wet footprints. Bare feet. Small. Leading from the east entrance down the corridor, fading with each step like a ghost, learning to disappear. But at the threshold of room 407, where the prints should have stopped, something else. A nurse knelt down, squinting. There's something here. She picked it up carefully, like lifting a wounded bird. A brass pendant. Small. Tarnished. Old enough to have a history. It was embossed with a symbol, a hospital crest. But not the current one. This design was decades old. Worn edges. Greenish patina. The kind of metal that had touched too many hands, absorbed too many stories. Nurse Marta took it, held it to the light. Her breath caught. I've seen this before, she whispered. Where? In the archives. The old nursery used these tags in the 80s. Before digital records. Before. She trailed off, face tight with something unspoken. Cassian reached for it. The brass was cold against his palm. Heavy with more than weight. On the back, barely visible, scratched into the metal. Initials. A date. A number. What does it mean? Someone asked. No one answered. Because no one wanted to say what they were all thinking. They found Zara 3 blocks away, huddled under a bus stop awning. Still soaked. Still silent. Cassian approached slowly, holding the pendant. You dropped this. Zara looked up. Saw the brass catching streetlight. Her hand moved instinctively to her neck where a pendant should have hung but didn't. It's yours, isn't it? She didn't answer. But her fingers brushed the crescent scar behind her ear, unconscious, automatic. The scar curved like the pendant's edge. An echo across skin and metal. Where did you get it? Cassian's voice cracked. From 30 years ago. You're what, 15? 16? How do you have something from before you were born? Zara stood. Water dripped from her sleeves. Some things get passed down, she said quietly. Some things find their way back. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. She turned to leave. Cassian grabbed her arm gently, desperately. My daughter moved. After 47 days of nothing, she moved. You did something in that room. I don't care if it's science or magic or something I don't have words for. I need to know. Zara looked at his hand on her arm. Then at his face. You want to know what she remembered? Yes. A song. Cassian froze. What song? Zara hummed 3 notes. Soft. Achingly familiar. Cassian's grip went slack. His face drained of color. He knew that melody. He knew it like breathing. Because he'd sung it to Lena every night for 8 years. And he'd never sung it to anyone else. Cassian stood frozen under the bus stop, rain hammering the metal roof like accusations. How do you know that song? His voice barely worked. The 3 notes Zara had hummed hung in the air between them. Simple, devastating. Impossible. Zara pulled her hood back up. I don't know. I've always known it. That's not possible. A lot of things aren't possible. She started walking. Wait, Cassian followed, desperation bleeding through his carefully constructed walls. That song. I made it up. For Lena. When she was born. I never recorded it. Never sang it anywhere else. No one knows it but me. And he stopped. The rain filled the silence. And who? Zara asked quietly, not turning around. Cassian's throat closed. Because the answer was a grave he'd buried 30 years ago. A choice he'd wrapped in silence and never unpacked. Cassian returned to his daughter's bedside. The monitors beeped their steady rhythm. Lena's finger, the one that had moved, rested still now, curled slightly as if holding onto something invisible. Nurse Marta was adjusting the IV. She glanced at him. You look like you've seen a ghost. Maybe I have. He sat down heavily. Pulled his chair close to the bed. For a long moment he just stared at his daughter's face, pale, peaceful, gone somewhere he couldn't follow. Then, without thinking, without permission from his carefully guarded heart, he sang the lullaby. The 3 notes Zara had hummed. Then the rest. The melody he'd created in a hospital room 8 years ago when Lena had been born premature and fragile, when he'd sung to keep himself from falling apart. Sleep now, small one, the world can wait. His voice cracked on the second line. Rough. Unpracticed. But real. Morning will find you, I'll keep you safe. Nurse Marta's hand stilled on the IV line. Her eyes widened. On the bed, Lena's chest rose deeper than before. Cassian kept singing, tears he didn't remember crying sliding down his face. Stars will guide you, through the night. Lena's other hand twitched. Fingers stretched. Reaching for something. I'll be here, holding you tight. The monitor's beep changed rhythm just slightly. Just enough. Marta grabbed her tablet, fingers flying. Her oxygen levels just increased. 2%. That's the first change in 6 weeks. Cassian's voice broke. He couldn't finish the last line. So someone else did. From the doorway. Soft. Hesitant. Perfect. Sleep now, small one, you're finally home. Zara stood there, hood down, water still dripping from her clothes. Her voice carried the melody like she'd sung it 1,000 times. Like it lived in her bones the same way it lived in his. The room held its breath. Cassian turned slowly. How I don't know, Zara whispered. But when you started singing, I could hear the rest. Like I was remembering something I never learned. On the bed, Lena's breathing deepened again. Her fingers flexed once, twice, then curled as if grasping an invisible hand. Nurse Marta's voice came out shaky, her brain activity just spiked. We haven't seen since. She looked up, face pale. Since before the accident. The lullaby hung between them, Cassian and Zara, like a bridge made of sound. A connection that shouldn't exist but did. "Who are you?" Cassian asked, but this time the question meant something different. Zara touched the crescent scar behind her ear. "I was hoping you could tell me." Cassian's assistant burst in. Tablet glowing. "Sir, you need to see this. Now." On the screen, the 30-second clip. Someone had filmed through the window. Captured the moment, the hand on the forehead, the finger moving, the pendant glinting. It had been posted 20 minutes ago. Views, 2.4 million. Shares, 847,000. Comments, 93,000 and climbing. The world had found them. And the world wanted answers. Detective Farouk didn't believe in miracles. He believed in patterns. Signatures. The way people lie when they think no one's looking. The viral clip had crossed his desk at 6 a.m. with a note from his captain, "Look into this." Quietly. By 9 a.m., he was standing in the hospital's records room, surrounded by boxes that smelled like forgotten decades. "I need everything from 30 years ago," he told the clerk. "Maternity ward. Transfers. Anything. Unusual." The clerk, a tired woman named Bianca, raised an eyebrow. "Unusual how?" "Off the books. Quick adoptions. Emergency placements." She disappeared into the stacks. Returned 20 minutes later with a single box. Unmarked. Dust-covered. This was in the back. Behind the active files. Someone wanted it lost. Farouk opened it. Inside, yellowed papers. Handwritten logs. And a photograph. The photograph stopped him cold. 2 infants. Cheek to cheek under a single blanket. Impossibly small. The incubator behind them was old, the kind hospitals used before digital monitoring. In the corner of the photo, barely visible, the same hospital crest from the pendant. Farouk flipped it over. On the back, in faded ink, the 14th of March 1995. Twins. Urgent transfer, one only. Discretion required. His pulse quickened. Cassian paced his study like a caged animal. Beyond the windows, news vans clustered at the gate. Reporters shouting questions. Cameras with lenses like weapons. His lawyer sat across from him, fingers steepled. "We need to get ahead of this. Issue a statement. Control the narrative." Control? Cassian's laugh was bitter. "How do I control this? By explaining who she is. Background check her. If she's running a con, she's not." The lawyer paused. "You sound certain." "She knew the song." Cassian's voice dropped to something raw. "A song I never sang anywhere. Never recorded. Never told anyone about. She knew it." "Then how?" "That's what I'm trying to figure out." His assistant knocked, entered without waiting. "Sir." The detective called. "He's requesting to meet with you. Says it's about hospital records from March 1995. The blood drained from Cassian's face. 1995. The year he'd rather forget. Farouk spread the contents across his desk. The photograph. A brass wrist tag, the kind nurses once used for newborns. A ledger page with a handwritten notation, "Transfer authorized." V. Estate. 1 infant. Private arrangement. Code, discretion. And a sealed envelope. Yellowed. Never opened. The detective slid it carefully. Inside, a note. Short. Desperate. Written in hurried script. "I'm sorry. She couldn't keep both. One would live better. I did what I thought was right. God forgive me." No signature. Just initials, M.V. Farouk sat back. Pieces sliding into place like a combination lock finally turning. Twins. Separated. One raised in wealth. One lost to the system. And now 30 years later one of them had walked barefoot into a hospital and sung a lullaby only the other should know. Zara sat on a threadbare mattress, the pendant in her palm. Around her, whispers. Other residents had seen the viral clip. Recognized her face. "That you?" a woman asked, eyes wide. Zara said nothing. "They're saying you're some kind of miracle worker. That you brought a rich man's daughter back from the dead." "I didn't bring anyone back." "Then what'd you do?" Zara closed her fist around the pendant. "I remembered something." "Remembered what?" She touched the scar behind her ear. The crescent that matched the pendant's curve. A memory surfaced, fragmented, incomplete. Not visual. Deeper than that. Warmth. 2 heartbeats. A voice singing. The feeling of being half of something whole. "I remembered," she whispered, "that I wasn't always alone." Farouk dialed Cassian's private number. It rang twice. "Mr. Vale. We need to talk. I found something in the hospital archives. A photograph. A transfer document. And a note." Silence on the other end. Long. Heavy. "What kind of note?" "The kind that says you made a choice 30 years ago. A choice that separated 2 lives." Cassian's voice came out strangled. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that homeless girl. The one who walked into your daughter's room." Farouk looked at the photograph. 2 infants. Identical faces. "I think she's family." The 30-second clip had a life of its own now. Cropped tight. No context. Just the moment, a scarred hand on pale skin, a finger twitching back to life, the glint of a tarnished pendant catching light. By morning, 47 million views. By noon, trending in 89 countries. By evening, the world had split into 2 camps. Miracle Girl believers, prayers, people claiming they'd felt the same divine presence. Staged healing skeptics. Debunkers, conspiracy theorists with frame-by-frame breakdowns, proving it was all camera tricks and crisis actors. The truth didn't matter anymore. The story did. Cassian's PR team moved like surgeons trying to stop bleeding. "We issue a statement," his publicist said, pacing. "Something measured. Dignified. The family requests privacy during this difficult time." "That's not a statement," his lawyer countered. "That's gasoline on a fire. People want answers. Who is she? How did she get in? What's her connection to Lena?" "We don't know the connection," Cassian said quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. "Sir?" Cassian's hands shook. He'd barely slept. The detective's words echoed like a verdict. "I think she's family." "Get me everything," he said finally. "Birth records. Hospital logs. I want to know what happened 30 years ago." His assistant hesitated. "Sir. Some of those records are sealed. By you." The room went silent. "Then unseal them. That will raise questions. I don't care." Cassian's voice cracked through the room like thunder. "My daughter is waking up for the first time in 7 weeks because a homeless girl walked in and sang a song she shouldn't know. I need answers. Now." Zara tried to leave through the back exit. Someone had found her. A small crowd waited. Not hostile. Worse. Hopeful. "Please," a woman begged, pressing forward. "My son. He's been in a coma for 3 months. If you could just—" "I can't," Zara said, backing up. "Just touch him. Like you did for that girl. Please. I'll pay anything." "I said I can't." More people pushed closer. Hands reaching. Voices overlapping. Someone grabbed her sleeve. Zara yanked free, heart hammering. She shoved through the crowd and ran. Behind her, cameras flashed. Phones recorded. Someone shouted, "There she is. The miracle girl." She didn't stop running until her lungs burned and the voices faded into traffic noise. Zara collapsed behind a dumpster. Gasping. Soaked again. Always soaked. She pulled out the pendant. Stared at the worn crest. Her reflection caught in a puddle-thin face. Exhausted eyes, the crescent scar behind her ear glowing faint in streetlight. I think she's family. The detective's words, overheard through a shelter window earlier. Whispered between staff who didn't know she was listening. Family. She'd never had that word belong to her before. Now it sat in her chest like a stone, heavy, sharp, impossible to swallow. If it was true. If she and Lena were actually. No. She couldn't think it. Couldn't let herself want it. Wanting things was dangerous. Wanting things got you hurt. But the lullaby. The way it had lived in her throat like breathing. The way Cassian's face had broken when she sang it. The way Lena's hand had moved. Zara closed her eyes. Hummed 3 notes. Somewhere across the city, in a hospital room with machines that beeped like heartbeats, a girl's fingers twitched in response. Nurse Marta sat beside Lena's bed, monitoring the vitals that had been slowly, impossibly improving. Oxygen, up 4%. Brain activity, increased neural firing. Muscle response, voluntary movement in 3 fingers. All since the lullaby. All since her. Marta pulled out her phone. Scrolled through the viral clip. Read the comments, thousands of them. People calling it fraud. People calling it faith. She paused on one comment, that scar behind her ear. Zoom in. It matches the pendant's curve. This isn't random. This is connected. Marta zoomed. The commenter was right. The scar. The pendant. The song. She stood. Walked to the filing cabinet in the corner. Pulled out an old drawer marked Archives Do Not Remove. Inside, patient files from decades ago. Maternity ward records. She found the one dated the 14th of March 1995. Opened it with trembling hands. 2 names. 2 birth times. 2 tiny footprints pressed in ink side by side. And a stamp across the page in red, Transfer A authorized. 1 infant only. Oh God, Marta whispered. The Vale boardroom was all glass and steel, a monument to control. But control was bleeding out through every polished surface. Cassian sat at the head of the table. Hands flat. Jaw tight. His board of directors stared at him like wolves smelling weakness. 30 years, his chief legal counsel said slowly. You sealed adoption records for 30 years. It was a private matter. Private? The CFO leaned forward. It's trending globally. Stock dropped 6% this morning. Shareholders are demanding answers. This is a PR catastrophe. My daughter is waking up. Because of a homeless girl who might be another daughter you abandoned. The words hit like bullets. Do you understand what this looks like? Cassian's composure finally cracked. I didn't abandon anyone. Then what did you do? Silence. The kind that screams louder than words. Mr. Vale. Detective Farouk's voice came from the doorway. He entered uninvited, holding a folder. We need to talk. Now. Farouk laid the evidence across Cassian's desk, like playing cards in a game already lost. The photograph. 2 infants. The transfer document. Official hospital stamp. The ledger entry, the 14th of March 1995. Twin girls. Premature. Mother, deceased childbirth. Father, unable to care for both. Transfer 1 to social services. Emergency authorization. And finally a birth certificate. Wrinkled. Coffee-stained. Barely legible. 2 names. Lena Cassidy Vale. Zara Cassidy Vale. Cassian stared at the second name like it was written in a language he'd forgotten how to read. Zara, he whispered. Her name, Farouk said quietly. The one you gave up. The one who slipped through the cracks. I didn't. Cassian's voice broke. I couldn't keep both. My wife died in childbirth. I was 23. Broke. Terrified. The hospital said one baby needed intensive care for months. They said I'd have to choose. So you chose Lena. I chose to give one of them a fighting chance. Cassian slammed his fist on the desk. The social worker said Zara would be placed with a good family. She promised me. She promised, she lied. Farouk's voice was blade sharp. Zara went into the system. Bounced between foster homes. Aged out at 16. Been homeless ever since. The words landed like stones in deep water. Oh God. Cassian buried his face in his hands. I thought she was safe. I thought I did the right thing. Did you ever check? Silence. Did you ever try to find her? Make sure she was okay? More silence. You sealed the records, Farouk continued, relentless. Made it impossible for her to find you. Or for you to be found. You buried her. I was protecting my family. You were protecting yourself. The truth hung between them like a noose. News crews had breached the outer perimeter. Security struggled to hold them back. Nurse Marta ran down the corridor, nearly colliding with an orderly. Lena's vitals are spiking, she gasped. Heart rate 110. Blood pressure rising. She's fighting the ventilator. Is she crashing? No. She's waking up. They burst into room 407. Lena's eyes were moving beneath closed lids. Rapid eye movement. Her fingers clenched and released. Her lips moved soundless, desperate. She's trying to speak, Marta whispered. The doctor leaned close. Lena? Can you hear me? Lena's mouth shaped a word. Once. Twice. Then barely audible, cracked from weeks of silence, Zara. The room froze. She said a name, the doctor breathed, she said. Zara. Marta's eyes filled with tears. She's calling for her sister. Zara sat with her back against brick, knees pulled to her chest. Soaked. Shivering. Alone. She didn't know that across the city, a girl was waking up calling her name. She didn't know that a detective had just confirmed what the pendant had whispered. She didn't know that a father was breaking apart with guilt. All she knew was the lullaby. The 3 notes that wouldn't leave her alone. She hummed them into the rain. Soft. Aching. And somewhere in room 407, Lena's heart rate calmed at the exact same moment. 2 heartbeats. Miles apart. Beating in perfect rhythm. Before she was the girl in the viral clip, Zara was just another ghost the system forgot. Her earliest memory, a foster home with yellow wallpaper peeling like dead skin. She was 4. Maybe 5. A woman with tired eyes had called her the quiet one like it was a diagnosis. Why doesn't she talk much? Trauma, probably. Some kids just shut down. But Zara wasn't shut down. She was listening. Always listening. For footsteps that meant danger. For voices that meant she'd have to move again. For the lullaby that lived in her bones like a second heartbeat. The house smelled like cigarettes and old carpet. 3 other kids. All older. All meaner. Zara kept her things in a plastic bag under the bed. 1 button. A marble. A scrap of cloth that smelled like something she couldn't name but needed. At night, when the house went quiet, she hummed. 3 notes. Always 3 notes. What's that song? Her foster brother asked once, annoyed. I don't know. Then why do you keep singing it? I don't know. But she did know. Somewhere deeper than words. It was the only thing that made her feel less alone. Like someone, somewhere, was humming the same tune. She learned survival by watching. Who to avoid. Where to hide food. How to make yourself small enough that people forgot you existed. She learned to mend clothes for spare change. Needle and thread became her language. Fix the torn seam. Reinforce the weak stitch. Make broken things whole again. A volunteer at the home, an old woman named Petra, noticed her skill. You Have good hands, Petra said, watching Zara repair a jacket. They're just hands. No. Good hands remember things. They hold memory. Zara touched the crescent scar behind her ear. She'd always had it. No one knew where it came from. Doctors guessed a childhood injury. But sometimes, when she touched it, she felt warmth. Like someone else's hand had once rested there. Like she'd been held. The system spit her out the day she turned 16. You're old enough now, the social worker said, handing her a garbage bag with her belongings. Good luck. No family. No plan. Just the city and the cold. She slept in shelters when she could. Doorways when she couldn't. Learned which alleys were safe, and which ones would swallow you whole. She carried 3 things always: the button, the scrap of cloth, and a brass pendant she'd found in a donation box. The pendant felt right in her palm. Like it belonged to her even though she'd never seen it before. The hospital crest meant nothing to her then. But she kept it anyway. The guest house was too clean. Too quiet. Too much. Zara sat on the edge of a bed that felt like a cloud compared to the shelter cot. Everything here was soft. Safe. It felt wrong. Her phone buzzed. Detective Farouk. Can we meet? I found something. About your family. Her chest tightened. What family? I only just found out I have one. That's what I need to talk to you about. The viral clip had made her a target. People wanting miracles. People wanting money. People wanting her to be something she wasn't. She'd spent 16 years in the system being shuffled between strangers who called themselves temporary guardians. She'd learned not to attach. Not to hope. Not to believe in words like forever. And now someone was saying she'd had family all along. A father who chose. A sister who didn't know she existed. A life that could have been hers. The anger came first, hot, bitter, overwhelming. He'd had money. Power. Resources. He could have kept them both. Could have searched. For her. Could have done something. But then the lullaby surfaced again. Unbidden. Unwanted. 3 notes that felt like arms around her shoulders. She hummed them into the rain. And for the first time in her life, Zara let herself cry. Not because she was scared. Not because she was alone. But because somewhere in this city, a girl was waking up. A girl who shared her blood. A girl who'd been calling her name. And Zara didn't know if she was ready to be found. Detective Farouk stood at the alley entrance, rain soaking through his coat. Zara? She scrambled to her feet, muscles coiled for flight. Easy. He raised both hands. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to tell you the truth. I don't want your truth, I think you do. He stepped closer, carefully, like approaching something wild. Because you've been looking for it your whole life. Haven't you? Zara's hand went to the pendant. Defensive. Protective. Farouk saw the gesture. Nodded slowly. You found that in a donation box. 5 years ago. Street Augustine's shelter on 5th Street. Her eyes widened. How do you? Because I've been tracing your entire life for the past 48 hours. He pulled out a folder. Waterproof. And I've been tracing his life for 30 years. His. Cassian Vale. Your father. The word landed like a fist, the only place still open. Fluorescent lights humming. One tired barista ignoring them. Farouk spread documents across the sticky table. Zara stared at them like they might bite. The 14th of March 1995, Farouk began. Twin girls born at Grace Memorial Hospital. Mother died in childbirth. Complications. The father Cassian Vale was 23. No family support. No money. Barely surviving. He slid forward a hospital admission form. Cassian's signature, shaky and young. The twins were premature. Both needed intensive care. But there was a problem. What problem? Only one incubator available. One ventilator. This was a small hospital. Limited resources. The doctors gave him a choice. Zara's throat tightened. What choice? Farouk's voice dropped. They told him both babies might die if they tried to split resources. But if he chose one, focused everything on one, she'd have a fighting chance. So he chose Lena. He chose survival. Farouk pulled out another document. But he didn't abandon you. Not at first. A social worker's report, faded. Official stamp. Father requests temporary foster placement for twin B, Zara. States he will reclaim custody once financial situation stabilizes. Agreed to 6-month review. Zara's hands shook. 6 months. He was supposed to come back for you. Farouk slid forward another paper. This one clipped, with a post-it note attached. But something happened. The note was handwritten. Hurried script, father contacted. Informed twin B placed with permanent family. Adoption finalized. Record sealed per family request. Case closed. They lied to him, Zara whispered. They lied to both of you. Farouk's jaw clenched. The adoption never happened. You bounced through foster care. And he was told you were safe. Happy. With a good family. And he believed them. He was 23. Broke. Grieving. Yeah. He believed them. Farouk leaned back. But here's what haunts me, he sealed the records 10 years later. Made it nearly impossible for anyone to trace. Why? Guilt. Shame. Fear of what he'd done. Farouk's voice softened. Or maybe he convinced himself the lie was true. That you were better off. Zara stared at the documents. Her entire life reduced to paper and signatures and lies. The pendant, she said quietly. Where did it come from? Farouk pulled out the photograph. 2 infants. Side by side. This was taken the day you were born. The pendant was attached to your hospital bassinet. Standard practice back then. When you were transferred to foster care, it should have stayed in your file. But it didn't. No. Someone kept it. Maybe a nurse who felt guilty. Maybe your father. I'm still tracking that part. He pointed to the pendant in her hand. But somehow, 30 years later, it found its way to you. Zara's fingers traced the worn crest. And the lullaby? Farouk smiled sadly. That's the part science can't explain. Twin studies show they share dreams sometimes. Finish each other's sentences. Feel each other's pain. He tapped the photo. You were together for 3 days. Skin to skin. Heartbeat to heartbeat. Maybe that's all it took. Zara's voice cracked. She called my name. Didn't she? First word she spoke after 7 weeks. Zara. Tears spilled over. Silent. Inevitable. What do I do? Farouk stood. Handed her a card. You decide. Meet her, or walk away. No one can force you. He left money for her coffee. Walked toward the door. Then stopped. For what it's worth. She's asking for you. The meeting wasn't in room 407. Too many cameras. Too many eyes. Too much pressure. Instead, a small community room in the hospital's east wing. Neutral ground. 2 chairs. A round table. A single window letting in gray morning light. No reporters. No lawyers. No audience. Just a mediator, a social worker named Dr. Okonkwo who'd spent 30 years putting broken families back together. This isn't a reunion, she said firmly, looking at both Cassian and Zara. This is a conversation. You both get to decide what happens next. No one else. Cassian arrived first. Suit jacket but no tie. Hands that wouldn't stop moving. He'd rehearsed speeches in his head all night. Every single one sounded hollow. Zara arrived second. Still in yesterday's clothes. Hood up. The pendant hidden under her shirt but present a weight against her chest. She sat across from him. Eyes down. The silence was suffocating. I'm sorry. Cassian's voice cracked on the second word. Zara didn't look up. I know that doesn't fix anything. I know, sorry isn't enough. But I need you to hear it. I'm sorry. Still nothing. They told me you were safe. That you'd been adopted. That you had a good family. I believed them because I needed to believe them. His hands shook. I was 23. Your mother had just died. Lena was barely breathing. I thought. You thought one of us was enough, Zara said quietly. The words landed like stones. No. I thought. Cassian swallowed hard. I thought I was giving you both a chance. I thought splitting you up meant you'd both survive. I survived, Zara said, finally looking up. In shelters. In foster homes where people forgot my name. In alleys where I learned to sleep with one eye open. Her voice was steady. Cold. I survived. But I didn't live. Cassian's face crumpled. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. Would it have mattered if you did? The question hung between them like a blade. Dr. Okonkwo intervened gently. Zara. May I ask you something? Zara nodded, barely. The lullaby. The one you hummed in Lena's room. Where did you learn it? I didn't learn it. I've always known it. Cassian leaned forward. I made it up. The night you and Lena were born, your mother was gone. You were both so small. I was terrified. So I sang. I didn't know what else to do. Zara's jaw clenched. Why that song? Because it was the only thing that made you stop crying. Her breath hitched. Both of you, Cassian continued, voice breaking. When I sang it, you'd calm down. Like you recognized it. Like it was yours. Zara closed her eyes. She could feel it, the memory that wasn't a memory. Warmth. 2 heartbeats. A voice wrapping around her like safety. You were together for 3 days, Dr. Okonkwo said softly. Skin to skin. The nurses said they'd never seen twins so connected. When one cried, the other would reach toward the sound. Zara's hand went to the crescent scar behind her ear. Cassian saw the gesture. His eyes widened. That scar. I've always had it. So has Lena. Cassian pulled out his phone. Showed a photo. Lena smiling. Behind her ear the same crescent mark. Mirror twins. Dr. Okonkwo explained. When identical twins separate late in development, they sometimes carry matching birthmarks. Opposite sides. Zara stared at the photo. At the girl who looked nothing like her but carried the same scar. The same blood. The same song. Cassian reached into his coat. Pulled out a small wrapped box. Placed it gently on the table. This isn't a bribe. It's not guilt money. It's just something I should have given you 30 years ago. Zara unwrapped it slowly. Inside, a violin bow. Simple. Worn. Lovingly maintained. It was your mother's, Cassian whispered. She played violin. I kept it for Lena. But it was supposed to be for both of you. Zara touched the wood. It felt warm under her fingers. Like it had been waiting. Lena's been asking for you, Cassian said. She doesn't know why. She just knows your name. How? I don't know. But she won't stop saying it. Zara looked at the bow. The scar. The pendant under her shirt. All the pieces of a life she'd never had. Can I meet her? She whispered. The world found out before Zara even reached the hospital. Someone leaked it. A nurse. A security guard. Didn't matter who. Within an hour, Twin Sisters was trending worldwide. Within 2 hours, the hospital was under siege. News vans formed a barricade. Reporters shouted questions at every passing car. Helicopters circled overhead. The internet exploded into a battlefield of opinions. This is a miracle. Proof that love transcends everything. This is exploitation. A billionaire's PR stunt to cover his guilt. She should sue him for everything he has. She should forgive him. Family is everything. Nobody asked Zara what she wanted. They smuggled her in through the back. Hood up. Security flanking both sides. Cameras still found her. Zara. How do you feel about meeting your sister? Will you forgive your father? Is this about money? She kept her head down, hands shaking. The violin bow tucked under her arm like armor. Nurse Marta met them at the service elevator. Took one look at Zara's pale face and blocked the reporters with her body. She's a patient. Back off. The doors closed. Silence finally. You okay? Marta asked gently. Zara nodded. Lied. Lena's been asking for you all night. She's awake now. Tired. But awake. The elevator climbed. Zara's heart climbed faster. What do you say to a sister you've never met? What do you say to the girl who got the life you should have had? Cassian waited in the hallway. Exhausted. Terrified. She doesn't know, he said quietly. About you. About what happened. I didn't know how to tell her. So she thinks I'm just. What? A stranger? She knows your name. That's all. He met Zara's eyes. The rest is up to you. Dr. Okonkwo placed a gentle hand on Zara's shoulder. No pressure. You can leave any time. This is your choice. Zara stared at the door marked 407. Behind it, a girl who shared her blood. Her scar. Her song. She touched the pendant under her shirt. Felt its weight. Then pushed the door open. Lena was sitting up. Barely. Propped against pillows. Hair tangled. Face pale but alive. She looked small. Fragile. Nothing like the polished photos Zara had seen online. She looked real. Their eyes met. And the world stopped. Lena's hand went immediately to the scar behind her ear. Unconscious. Automatic. Zara's hand mirrored the gesture. You're Zara, Lena whispered. Voice hoarse from disuse. Yeah. I dreamed about you. Zara's breath caught. What? Every night. Since I was little. I'd dream about someone humming. Someone who felt like home. Lena's eyes filled with tears. I thought I was making you up. Zara took a step closer. Then another. I dreamed about you too. Lena smiled weak, but genuine. What did you dream? That I wasn't alone. The words hung between them like a bridge. Zara reached into her pocket. Pulled out the pendant. Laid it gently on the bedside table next to Lena's medical bracelet. Lena stared at it. That's from here. From the hospital. It's mine. From when I was born. When we were born. The word we broke something open in Zara's chest. Lena reached out. Slowly. Carefully. Zara took her hand. The moment their fingers touched, the heart monitor beeped not in alarm, but in synchronization. Two rhythms becoming one. Nurse Marta, watching from the corner, felt tears slide down her face. I'm sorry, Lena whispered. I'm sorry I got to stay and you didn't. It wasn't your fault. It's not fair. No. It's not. Zara squeezed her hand. But you're here now. And so am I. Lena smiled through tears. Will you sing it? The song? Zara knew exactly which one. She sat on the edge of the bed. Took a breath. And sang. Sleep now, small one, the world can wait. Lena's voice joined in weak, shaky, but there. Morning will find you, I'll keep you safe. Their voices braided together. Not perfect. Not polished. But whole. Outside the door, Cassian pressed his forehead against the wall and finally let himself break. The lawyers arrived before dawn. 3 of them. Expensive suits. Briefcases that cost more than Zara had earned in her lifetime. They sat across from Cassian in his private study like judges at a sentencing. "This is a legal nightmare," the lead counsel said, sliding a document across the desk. "Negligence. Abandonment. Emotional distress. She could sue you for millions." "She won't," Cassian said quietly. "You don't know that. And even if she doesn't, someone else will. A lawyer looking for headlines. An activist group. The state." He tapped the paper. "We need to act now. Preemptively." "What are you suggesting?" "A settlement. Generous. In exchange for an NDA and a signed statement that you fulfilled your parental obligations to the best of your ability given the circumstances." Cassian's jaw tightened. "You want me to buy her silence?" "I want to protect you from litigation that could destroy everything you've built." "Everything I built was supposed to protect them." Cassian stood. "I'm not buying her off." "Then what are you doing?" He didn't have an answer. Farouk laid out the timeline on his whiteboard like a crime scene. The 14th of March 1995, twins born. Mother dies. The 17th of March 1995, Zara transferred to state custody. Temporary placement. September 1995, Cassian contacts social services. Told adoption finalized. 2005, record sealed. Cassian's signature. Legal authorization. 2025, Zara walks into room 407. His partner, Detective Reyes, studied the board. "So what's the crime?" "Maybe nothing. Maybe everything." Farouk circled the sealed records notation. He was lied to. But he also stopped looking. You can't prosecute someone for believing a lie. No. But you can ask why he sealed those records 10 years later. Farouk pulled up a document on his tablet. "Look at this." The same year he sealed Zara's adoption records, he made a $50 million donation to children's welfare organizations. Reyes frowned. Guilt money? Or atonement? Farouk leaned back. He couldn't find her. So he tried to save kids like her. That doesn't make him innocent. No. But it makes him human. Zara found Cassian sitting in the last pew. Head bowed. Not praying. Just still. She sat beside him. Silent for a long moment. "Your lawyers came to see me," she said finally. Cassian's head snapped up. "What?" "This morning. Offered me money. A lot of it. In exchange for signing something that says you didn't do anything wrong." His face went pale. "I didn't authorize that." "I know." She studied him. "I told them, no." "Why?" "Because money doesn't fix 30 years. She touched the pendant around her neck. "And because Lena doesn't need a legal battle. She needs to heal." Cassian's eyes filled. "I don't deserve your mercy. I'm not giving it to you." Zara's voice was steady. "I'm giving it to her. And to myself. Because holding on to this anger, it would destroy me more than it would hurt you." He wiped his face roughly. "What do you want from me?" "The truth. All of it. Why you sealed the records. Why you never looked for me again." Cassian took a shaky breath. "Because I was terrified of what I'd find. Terrified that if I looked, I'd discover you were suffering. That the system had failed you. That my choice had destroyed your life." His voice cracked. "It was easier to believe the lie. Easier to build an empire and convince myself I'd made the right decision. But you didn't believe it. Did you?" "No." He met her eyes. "Every birthday. Every milestone. I wondered where you were. If you were safe. If you hated me." "I did hate you," Zara said quietly. "For about 48 hours. But hate takes energy I don't have." "So what now?" She stood. "Now you do better. Not for me. For every kid who gets lost in the system because someone made an impossible choice. How? You're a billionaire. Figure it out. She walked toward the door. Stopped. And Cassian? He looked up. Stop trying to fix this with lawyers. Lena doesn't need contracts. She needs her father. And maybe. Her voice softened. Maybe I do too. Eventually. Zara returned to the shelter that night. Not because she had nowhere else to go. Cassian had offered a guest house, a hotel, anything. But because she needed to stand in the place where she'd survived. To remember who she was before. The world decided who she should be. The shelter smelled the same. Bleach and old coffee. Worn blankets and second chances. She sat on her usual cot, third from the door, closest to the exit. Always closest to the exit. A woman named Keisha sat beside her. Another regular. Another ghost the system forgot. Saw you on the news, Keisha said, not unkindly. You famous now? Not famous. Just visible. That better or worse? Zara thought about it. Worse. People look at you different when they know your story. Like you're not a person anymore. Just a tragedy they can share. Keisha nodded. Understanding without needing explanation. You gonna stay here? She asked. For now. Why? You got a billionaire father. A sister in a hospital bed waiting for you. You could have anything. Zara pulled out the pendant. Turned it over in her palm. Because this place knows me. The real me. Not the miracle girl. Not the lost twin. Just Zara. The memories came at night. Always at night. She was 4. Maybe 5. A foster home with blue curtains. A woman with kind eyes had tucked her in. Sweet dreams, little one. But Zara hadn't dreamed. She'd remembered. Warmth. Skin against skin. 2 heartbeats so close they sounded like one. A voice humming. Not the foster mother's voice. Someone else's. And a feeling, the overwhelming, crushing feeling of being incomplete. Like half of her was missing. She'd woken up crying. Couldn't explain why. The foster mother had called her sensitive. But Zara knew. Even then. She was mourning someone she'd never consciously met. Zara lay on the cot, staring at the ceiling. Around her, soft snores and shifting bodies, the sounds of survival. Her phone buzzed. A text from Cassian. Lena asked if you'd come back tomorrow. No pressure. Just wanted you to know. She stared at the message. Another text arrived. This time from a number she didn't recognize. This is Lena. Dad gave me your number. I hope that's okay. Zara's heart clenched. Another message. Thank you for coming. Today. For singing with me. I've been humming that song my whole life and never knew why. Then, I know this is weird. I know we just met. But it doesn't feel like we just met. Does that make sense? Zara's fingers hovered over the keyboard. Finally typed, it makes sense. I've felt like half a person my whole life. Like I was searching for something I couldn't name. 3 dots appeared. Lena was typing. Maybe we were searching for each other. Zara closed her eyes. Tears sliding into her hair. Maybe we were. Zara went to the public library. Logged into a computer. Started searching. Not for Cassian. Not for the viral clips. For herself. She found old foster care records. Fragments. Digital ghosts of a childhood scattered across databases. Age 4 placed with the Morrison family. Removed after 6 months. Behavioral issues. Age 7 placed with the Chin family. Removed after 3 months. Not a good fit. Age 9 group home. Cedar Valley. Aged out at 16. Each placement a rejection. Each move a message, you don't belong here. She found a photo. School picture from age 8. Her face small, serious, guarded. Behind her ear barely visible the crescent scar. She downloaded the image. Sent it to Lena with a message, "This is me. Age 8. 3rd grade. I had no friends. But I had the song." Minutes later, Lena responded with a photo. Same age. Same serious expression. Same scar opposite side. "This is me. Same year. I had everything. But I felt like something was missing." Zara stared at the two photos side by side. Mirror images. Opposite lives. She typed, "We're going to be okay. I don't know how yet. But we will." Lena's reply came fast, "Together?" Zara smiled through tears. Together. Zara walked through the main entrance this time. No hiding. No back doors. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted. "Zara, are you moving in with your father? Will you sue for damages? How does it feel to be rich now?" She stopped. Turned to face them. "I'm not rich. I have a sister. That's worth more than anything." Then she walked inside. To room 407. Where Lena was waiting. The package arrived at the shelter at 6 a.m. No return address. Just Zara's name written in careful handwriting. Inside, a blanket. Thick. Clean. The kind that keeps you warm through winter nights that don't care if you survive. Beneath it, a small wooden box. Zara opened it carefully. The violin bow from their mother. Polished now. Restaurant. A small note tucked inside. This was hers. Now it's yours. Not because of guilt. Because you deserve to know where you came from. See, Zara traced the wood with her fingertips. It felt alive under her touch. Like it had been waiting 30 years to come home. Lena's recovery was slow. Painful. Real. Today she was learning to hold a spoon again. Such a small thing. Such a mountain. Her hand shook. The spoon clattered against the tray. "It's okay," the therapist said gently. "Try again." Lena's eyes filled with frustrated tears. "I used to play violin. Now I can't even hold a spoon." The door opened softly. Zara stood there, the bow in her hands. "Then maybe we start smaller," she said. Lena's face lit up. "You came. I said I would." Zara sat beside the bed. Held up the bow. "This was our mother's. Dad told me. Said she was amazing. Want to try holding it?" Lena's hand trembled as Zara placed the bow gently across her palm. It was too heavy. Her fingers couldn't grip, but she didn't let go. "Tell me about her," Lena whispered. "Our mother." Zara looked at Cassian, who stood in the doorway. His eyes were red-rimmed. Raw. He stepped forward. Sat on the other side of Lena's bed. "Her name was Nadia," he began, voice cracking. "She had your eyes. Both of you. And she hummed constantly. In the kitchen. In the car. Everywhere." "The lullaby?" Zara asked. "That was hers. I just remembered it. After she was gone." He looked at both of them. "She would have fought to keep you both. She would have found a way. But she didn't get the chance," Lena said quietly. "No. She didn't." Cassian's face crumpled. "And I failed to do what she would have done." Zara reached across Lena. Placed her hand on Cassian's. He froze. Stared at their joined hands. "You failed," Zara said. "But you're here now. That has to count for something." Marta watched through the window. The three of them sitting together. Broken but trying. Detective Farouk appeared beside her. "Beautiful, isn't it?" he said. "Shouldn't be this hard," Marta replied. "Families shouldn't have to fight this hard to stay together. No. They shouldn't." He pulled out a folder. "I'm closing the investigation. No criminal charges. Just tragedy. And human failure. Is that enough?" "No. But it's what we have." He looked at Zara through the glass. She could have destroyed him. Sued him into oblivion. Instead, she's in there holding her sister's hand. She's stronger than all of us. She had to be. Nobody gave her a choice. Zara stayed for hours. Talking. Listening. Just being. Lena fell asleep holding the bow. Zara tried to leave. Cassian stopped her at the door. Wait. She turned. The guest house. It's empty. Climate controlled. Safe. He held out a key. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm asking you to stop sleeping in shelters. Zara stared at the key. Charity? No. Restitution. There's a difference. She took the key. Felt its weight. One condition, she said. Anything. You use your money to fix the system that broke me. Fund investigations. Reform foster care. Make sure no other kid gets lost the way I did. Cassian's throat tightened. I already started. Called my foundation this morning. We're launching an initiative. Tracking every child in state custody. Making sure they don't disappear. What's it called? He met her eyes. The Zara Project. Her breath caught. You don't have to. Yes. I do. His voice broke. I can't give you back 30 years. But I can make sure your story saves others. Zara looked at the key in her palm. Then at Lena sleeping peacefully. Then at the man who gave one daughter everything and the other nothing. Okay, she whispered. I'll stay. Cassian exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for 30 years. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I'm still angry. You have every right to be. I know. She pocketed the key. But I'm trying not to be. For her. She nodded toward Lena. And maybe, Zara added quietly, for me too. The photograph arrived at Detective Farouk's office in an unmarked envelope. No note. No explanation. Just the image and a postmark from someone who'd carried guilt long enough. He recognized it immediately, the same photo from the hospital archives. But this copy was different. Unfolded. The archived version had been cropped. Deliberately. To hide something. Farouk smoothed the creases carefully. The full image revealed what had been cut away, 2 nurses standing behind the incubators. One young. One older. And between them, a woman in street clothes, face turned away from the camera, hand pressed against the glass. On the back, in faded pencil. The mother's sister. She came once. We told her the babies wouldn't survive. She left. Never came back. RN, Farouk's hands shook. There was family. Someone who could have helped. Someone who walked away. He grabbed his phone, called Cassian. We need to talk. Now. Cassian stared at the photograph like it was a bomb. Who is she? You tell me. Farouk pointed to the woman. Your wife had a sister? Cassian's face drained of color. Elena. Nadia's older sister. Where is she now? I don't know. After Nadia died, He swallowed hard. She blamed me. Said I should have taken better care of her. We had a fight at the funeral. She left. I never heard from her again. Did she know about the twins? She came to the hospital. Once. I was with Lena in NICU. The nurses said someone visited. Asked about the babies. But by the time I got there, she was gone. Farouk leaned forward. Did she know you were giving Zara up? Cassian's silence was answer enough. She knew, Farouk said quietly. And she did. Nothing. She thought they wouldn't survive. The note says. The note is an excuse. Farouk's voice turned sharp. She walked away from her nieces when they needed her most. You're not the only one who failed them. Cassian sat heavily. Does Zara know? Not yet. Don't tell her. Please. She's been through enough. That's not your decision anymore. Farouk stood. She deserves to know the whole truth. Not the version that makes you feel less guilty. The guest house was too clean. Too quiet. Too much. Zara sat on the edge of a bed that felt like a cloud compared to the shelter cot. Everything here was soft. Safe. It felt wrong. Her phone buzzed. Detective Farouk. Can we meet? I found something. About your family. Her chest tightened. What family? I only just found out I have one. That's what I need to talk to you about. Farouk slid the photograph across the table. Zara stared at the woman behind the incubators. Who is she? Your aunt. Your mother's sister. Elena. Zara's world tilted. I have an aunt. Had. Maybe. I don't know if she's still alive. Farouk pointed to the notation on the back. She came to the hospital. The day you and Lena were born. She asked about you both. Then left. Why? The nurses told her you probably wouldn't survive. Premature twins, mother dead, father barely holding it together. He paused. She walked away. Zara's hands curled into fists. She just left? According to this, yes. Did she know that I was being given up? Farouk's silence was brutal. She knew, Zara whispered. And she let it happen. We don't know her full story. I don't care about her story. Zara's voice cracked. She was family. She could have helped. She could have taken me. Instead I spent 30 years alone while she what? Lived her life? Forgot we existed. Zara, find her. Her voice turned to steel. I want to look her in the eye and ask her why we weren't worth saving. Lena was awake when Zara arrived, face streaked with tears. Dad told me, Lena said quietly. About the aunt. Zara sat beside her. I'm sorry. I didn't want you to, it's not your fault. Lena grabbed Zara's hand. She failed both of us. Not just you. You had Dad. And you had no one. Lena's grip tightened. That's not fair. None of this is fair. No. It's not. They sat in silence. Two sisters. Two scars. One shared grief. If we find her, Lena said finally, we face her together. Together? You're not alone anymore, Zara. You have me. And I'm not going anywhere. Zara's tears finally came. Promise? Promise. The word hung in the air like smoke. Consent. Had Cassian consented to giving Zara up? Or had poverty, grief, and a broken system made the choice for him? Had Elena consented to abandoning her nieces? Or had fear of responsibility made her vanish? Had anyone asked what Nadia would have wanted? The ethics professor on the morning news dissected it with academic precision. When circumstances eliminate choice, can we call what remains consent? Zara turned off the TV. She didn't need theory. She'd lived the answer. Dr. Okonkwo arranged the meeting with care. Neutral space. Mediator present. Ground rules established. Cassian. Zara. Lena in a wheelchair, insisting she was strong enough. And the question no one wanted to ask. We need to talk about what comes next, Dr. Okonkwo began. Legally. Emotionally. Practically. I don't want anything from him, Zara said immediately. That's not what this is about. The mediator's voice was gentle. This is about establishing what relationship, if any, you three want moving forward. Lena reached for Zara's hand. I want her in my life. However she'll let me. And you? Dr. Okonkwo looked at Cassian. His voice cracked. I want to be her father. If she'll let me. All eyes turned to Zara. She stared at her hands. The same hands that had mended torn clothes. Survived streets. Walked barefoot into a hospital room and somehow brought someone back. I don't know how to have a father, she said quietly. The system taught me not to trust that word. Then we don't use that word, Cassian said. Not until you're ready. I'll be whatever you need me to be. What if I need you to be nothing? The words landed like a slap. Cassian's eyes filled, but he nodded. Then I'll be nothing. And I'll wait. For as long as it takes. The lawyer spread papers across the desk. Official. Sterile. Reducing human pain to checkboxes. These are 3 options, she explained. 1. Cassian retains full parental rights. Zara becomes his legal dependent. 2. Zara remains legally independent. Financial support provided without strings. 3. Zara pursues legal action for negligence and abandonment. I already said, Zara started. I know. But the law requires I present all options. The lawyer's eyes softened. Even the ones that hurt. Zara looked at the papers. 30 years of absence reduced to legalese. What would you choose? She asked. That's not my place. Please. I'm asking. The lawyer was quiet for a long moment. My brother was in foster care. Aged out at 18. Homeless by 19. She met Zara's eyes. I'd choose the option that protects you. Not him. Zara picked up the pen. Circled option 2. Financial support. No legal claim to parenthood. Freedom to walk away. This one. Cassian closed his eyes. Breathed through the pain. Okay. Zara lay in a bed too soft, staring at ceiling too high, in a room too quiet. Her phone buzzed. Lena, you awake? Zara, yeah. Can't sleep either. Want to video call? Zara hesitated. Then pressed the button. Lena's face appeared. Pale. Tired. But smiling. Hi. Hi. You okay? Lena asked. After today? I don't know what I am. That's okay. You don't have to know yet. Lena shifted in her hospital bed. Can I ask you something? Always. Do you regret coming to the hospital that night? Zara thought about it. The rain. The barefoot walk. The moment she'd placed her hand on a stranger's forehead and felt something shift. No, she said finally. You needed me. I felt it. I don't know how. But I felt it. I felt you too. Lena touched her scar. My whole life, I felt like I was missing something. Now I know what it was. What? You. Zara's throat tightened. I'm scared, she admitted. Of this. Of them. Of wanting things I never thought I could have. Like what? Like family. Like belonging. Like. She trailed off. Like being loved? Lena finished gently. Zara nodded, tears sliding down. You are loved, Lena said fiercely. By me. Right now. Whether you're ready or not. I don't know how to do this. Neither do I. But we figure it out. Together. The word together was becoming a lifeline. Okay, Zara whispered. Together. The municipal hearing room smelled of old wood and consequence. Not a trial. Not technically. Just a public accounting. A chance for the community to understand what had happened and demand answers. The benches filled quickly. Reporters. Foster care advocates. People who'd followed the viral story from the beginning. Some with signs, justice for Zara. Others, families deserve better. The room buzzed with the electric tension of judgment waiting to be passed. Cassian entered first. No expensive suit this time. Just a plain shirt and the weight of 30 years on his shoulders. Then Zara. Flanked by Dr. Okonkwo. The room went silent. Every phone pointed at her. Every eye tracked her movement. She kept her head up. Walked to the witness table. Lena arrived last, wheeled in by Nurse Marta, still weak but present. She refused to miss this. The mediator, a city council woman named Torres, called the room to order. This hearing is not about punishment. It's about understanding. About ensuring this never happens again. She looked at Cassian. Mr. Vale. Please share your account of March 1995. Cassian's voice shook as he began. I was 23. My wife died giving birth to twins. Both babies were premature. Critical condition. The hospital had limited resources. He paused, gathering courage. The doctors told me I had to choose which baby would receive intensive care. They said trying to split resources meant both might die. Murmurs rippled through the room. I chose Lena because. His voice broke. Because the doctor said she had the better chance. And I couldn't bear losing them both. And Zara? Torres asked. A social worker promised she'd be placed with a good family. Temporarily. Until I could get on my feet. She said it would be 6 months. Maybe a year. Cassian's hands clenched. I signed the papers because I believed her. Because I thought I was saving both of them. But you didn't come back for her. I tried. He pulled out a document. 3 months later, I called. They told me the adoption was finalized. That Zara was happy. With a loving family. That reopening the case would traumatize her. And you believed them? I was 23 years old, grieving, and terrified. Yes. I believed them. Torres turned to Zara. Do you wish to respond? Zara stood slowly. I was never adopted. I spent 16 years in foster care. 13 different homes. Some kind. Most not. Her voice was steady. Steel underneath. I aged out at 16. Homeless by 17. I survived on streets while he built an empire. The room held its breath. But. She met Cassian's eyes. The social worker lied to him. The system failed us both. I'm angry. I'll probably be angry for a long time. But I'm not here for revenge. Then why are you here? Torres asked gently. Because other kids are still being lost. Right now. While we sit here talking. Zara's voice grew stronger. I want the system investigated. Reformed. I want tracking for every child in foster care. I want the people who lied about me, about adoptions, about good families held accountable. Applause erupted. Torres let it continue for a moment before gaveling for silence. We have one more testimony, Torres announced. A witness who came forward yesterday. The back door opened. An older woman entered. Gray hair. Expensive coat. Face carved with years of guilt. Zara's breath stopped. The photograph. The woman behind the incubator, Elena, the aunt who'd walked away. Cassian stood, face white. Elena? She didn't look at him. Walked straight to the witness table. Sat down. Looked directly at Zara. I'm sorry, Elena said, voice breaking. I'm sorry I left you. Both of you. I was scared. Your mother had just died in that hospital. I couldn't. She stopped, tears falling. I convinced myself you'd be better off without me. Without the reminder of what we'd lost. You were family, Zara said, voice like ice. We needed you. I know. Why didn't you come back? Because I'm a coward. Elena's hands shook. I told myself the lie was easier than the truth. That you'd been adopted. That you were happy. I let myself believe it because facing what I'd done would have destroyed me. It destroyed me, Zara said. 30 years of wondering why I wasn't worth keeping. You were worth everything. Elena stood, taking a step forward. I failed you. Your mother would have never forgiven me. I'll never forgive myself. Good, Zara said coldly. You shouldn't. The room went silent. But. Zara's voice softened slightly. I need to know. Did my mother, did she know? About the song? Elena's eyes widened. The lullaby? Yes. She sang it. When she was pregnant. Every night. To both of you. Zara's legs nearly gave out. Lena wheeled forward, grabbed her hand. We need definitive proof. Detective Farouk placed the request on Dr. Chen's desk. The hospital's head geneticist looked tired but intrigued. DNA testing, she asked. Twin verification. Paternity confirmation. Medical history correlation. He slid forward the photograph. These girls were separated at birth. We need science to confirm what their hearts already know. Dr. Chen studied the image. 2 infants. Mirror scars. 30 years of separation. This isn't just about proof, is it? No. Farouk leaned back. It's about giving them something the world can't question. Something lawyers and skeptics and internet trolls can't tear apart. And if the tests prove they're not related? Then we've been chasing a beautiful coincidence instead of a miracle. He met her eyes. But they are. I'd stake my career on it. Zara stood by the window, watching rain trace patterns down glass. They want to test us, she said without turning. Blood work. DNA. Make it official. Lena sat up straighter in bed. Do you want to? I don't know. Zara touched the pendant. What if the science doesn't match what we feel? Then we trust what we feel. The world won't. They'll call us liars. Say it was all a con. Lena wheeled closer. Zara. Look at me. She turned. I don't need a test to tell me you're my sister, I've known since the moment you walked in here. Lena pressed her hand to her chest. I feel you. Here. The way I've felt you my whole life without knowing why. But what if there is no what if? We share the same scar. The same song. The same heartbeat. She held out her hand. But if a test makes the world believe, if it protects us from people who want to tear this apart, then okay. Let them test. Zara took her hand. Their scars aligned left and right, mirror images. Together? Zara whispered. Always. The blood draw was clinical. Sterile. A needle. A vial. DNA reduced to molecular sequence. But Dr. Chen treated them with reverence. Like she understood this wasn't just science, it was the difference between proof and faith. Results in 72 hours, she said gently. I'll call the moment I know. Cassian waited in the hallway, giving them space. When Zara emerged, he stood. How are you? Fine. Zara, I said I'm fine. She softened slightly. It's just weird. Needing science to prove something I already know. Science won't change what's true, he said quietly. It'll just make it harder for people to deny. She studied him. The gray in his hair. The lines around his eyes. The weight of choices that couldn't be undone. Why do you care what people think? She asked. I don't. I care what you think. And I don't want anyone questioning whether you belong. Something in her chest cracked open. Just a little. Thank you, she whispered. He nodded, not trusting himself to speak. Zara returned to the shelter that night. Not to sleep, she had the guest house now. But to visit. Keisha was folding donated clothes. Looked up, smiled. How's rich life? Weird. Zara sat beside her. Started folding. Old habits. They tested our DNA today. To prove you're sisters? Yeah. You worried? Zara was quiet for a long moment. What if the test says we're not related? What if this whole thing, the pendant, the song, the feeling, what if it's just coincidence? Keisha stopped folding. Looked at her hard. Girl. You walked barefoot into a hospital in a thunderstorm. You put your hand on a dying girl's head. She woke up. You both hum the same song. You both got the same scar in the same place. She grabbed Zara's shoulders. That ain't coincidence. That's destiny. Science doesn't believe in destiny. Science don't know everything. Keisha's eyes were fierce. You feel it in your bones, don't you? That she's yours? Zara nodded, tears forming. Then that's all that matters. Test or no test. Paper or no paper. Blood don't lie, baby. And your blood's been calling to hers for 30 years. Dr. Chen stared at her computer screen. The results had come through early. Flagged as priority. She'd run them twice. Then a third time. Because what she was seeing was impossible. She picked up the phone. Dialed Farouk. Detective. The results are in. And you need to see this. Now. Because what I'm looking at. She paused, scrolling through data. This isn't just twins. This is something I've never seen before. They gathered in Dr. Chen's office at dawn. Cassian. Zara. Lena in her wheelchair. Detective Farouk. Nurse Marta. Dr. Chen spread the results across her desk. Like tarot cards revealing fate. The DNA confirms it, she began. You are identical twins. Mirror twins, specifically. Your DNA is 99.9% identical. With key developmental markers showing you separated late in gestation around day 12. Lena grabbed Zara's hand. Squeezed hard. But there's something else. Dr. Chen pulled up a scan on her monitor. Something I've only read about in medical journals. Never seen in person. What? Cassian leaned forward. Your neural patterns. She pointed to brain scans taken during Lena's coma recovery. When Lena was unconscious, we monitored her brain activity. Standard procedure. But when Zara entered the room that first night, she clicked to a comparison image. Lena's neural activity spiked. Specifically in the areas associated with recognition and emotional bonding. She knew I was there, Zara whispered. Even unconscious. More than that. Dr. Chen's voice filled with wonder. We ran a test 3 days ago. Without telling either of you. We monitored Lena's heart rate while Zara was in the guest house, a mile away. At 3:47 a.m., Zara had a nightmare, we know because she called the crisis line afterward. Zara's face flushed. How did you? At 3:47 a.m. Lena's heart rate jumped 20 points. She woke up gasping. Said she felt like someone was drowning. The room went silent. That's impossible, Cassian breathed. Scientifically. Yes. But the data doesn't lie. Dr. Chen pulled up synchronized graphs. 2 heart rates. 2 timestamps. Perfectly aligned. This is twin synchronicity at a level I've never documented. You're not just genetically connected. You're neurologically entangled. Lena turned to Zara, tears streaming. I felt you. That night. I didn't understand why. I dreamed I was drowning, Zara confirmed, voice shaking. In darkness. I couldn't breathe. You were feeling each other across distance. Dr. Chen's professional composure cracked. This is extraordinary. Farouk placed the brass pendant on the table. And this, he asked. The hospital crest. How did it get to Zara? Dr. Chen examined it under light. This design was retired in 1996. These pendants were attached to bassinets, not babies. When Zara was transferred to foster care, someone removed it. Who? According to the transfer log I found. She pulled out a faded document. Nurse Regina Morales. She worked the night shift. She's the one who prepared Zara for transport. Is she still alive? Zara asked. Yes. Retirement home in Maryland. I called her yesterday. Dr. Chen's voice softened. She remembers you. Both of you. She said she'd never seen twins fight so hard to stay together. When they separated you, you both cried for hours. The only thing that calmed you was putting your bassinets side by side. Zara's hand went to her scar. She kept the pendant, Dr. Chen continued. Held onto it for years. When she heard about the viral clip, she recognized the crest. Put it in a donation box at the shelter she knew you visited. She wanted you to have it. But she was too afraid to come forward. Why? Lena asked. Because she's the one who told Elena the babies wouldn't survive. She's carried that guilt for 30 years. And the song? Cassian's voice broke. How did they both know it? Dr. Chen clicked to another file. I spoke with your wife's OBGYN. Dr. Patricia Watts, now retired. She kept personal journals. Found this entry from December 1994. She read aloud, patient Nadia Vale, 32 weeks pregnant with twins. She sings to them constantly. A lullaby she composed. Says she can feel them respond. Baby A kicks during the first verse. Baby B during the second. They're listening. They're learning. Cassian buried his face in his hands. They heard their mother, Dr. Chen said gently. In the womb. Before they were born. Before they were separated. The song was imprinted in their neural pathways. That's why you both remembered it. Not as memory as instinct. Zara and Lena looked at each other. We knew her, Lena whispered. For 3 weeks. Before everything. Zara's voice cracked. She sang to us. They reached for each other. Foreheads touching. Tears mixing. She gave us each other, Lena said. Before she had to leave. Farouk stepped back, letting them grieve. Letting them heal. Cassian watched his daughters, both of them, and understood. Some bonds are forged before birth and survive everything the world throws at them. The room was deliberate in its modesty. No cameras. No lawyers. No mediators this time. Just a kitchen table in the guest house. 3 chairs. Afternoon light through plain curtains. Cassian arrived first, carrying a worn box. Hands trembling as he set it down. Zara came next. Lena wheeled herself in behind her, stronger now, needing the chair less but not ready to abandon it. They sat. Triangle formation. A family learning geometry. I asked you here, Cassian began, voice raw, because there are things I need to say. Not for the public. Not for lawyers. Just for us. Zara's arms crossed defensively. Okay. He opened the box. Inside, photographs. Letters. A hospital bracelet with faded ink. Nadia's violin. A baby blanket, split down the middle. This was supposed to be yours, he said to Zara, touching the blanket. Peace with Lena. Planned to give you the other when I got you back. Zara stared at the fabric. Faded yellow. Impossibly soft. You kept it? Every day for 30 years. His voice cracked. It was in my office. In a drawer I couldn't open without breaking down. Physical proof that I'd failed. Why didn't you look for me? The question Zara had been holding exploded out. After they lied. After you had money. Power, resources. Why didn't you look? Cassian's face crumpled. Because I was terrified of what I'd find. Terrified you were suffering. Terrified you'd hate me. Terrified the guilt would destroy me. He met her eyes. I told myself you were better off. That you'd been adopted by people who loved you. That searching would disrupt your life. Those are excuses. Yes, they are. He didn't look away. I was a coward. I chose the comfortable lie over the hard truth. And you paid the price. He pulled out a stack of envelopes. Yellowed. Unopened. What are those? Lena asked. Letters. Cassian's hands shook. I wrote them. One every year on your birthday. He looked at Zara. I never sent them. Because I didn't know where you were. Or maybe because I was too ashamed. Zara reached for them slowly. Counted. 30 envelopes. She opened the first one. Dated the 14th of March 1996. Dear Zara, you're 1 year old today. I don't know where you are or if you're happy. I hope you are. I hope your new family loves you the way I should have. I think about you every day. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Dad, her vision blurred. She opened another. The 14th of March 2005. Dear Zara. You're 10 today. Lena asked why she doesn't have a sister. I didn't know what to tell her. How do you explain that I chose wrong? That I let fear make my decisions? I sealed the records today. The lawyer said it was protective. But I know the truth. I'm protecting myself from facing what I did. I don't deserve to know if you're okay. But I hope you are. Always. Dad. Lena read over her shoulder. Tears falling onto the pages. You thought about her? Every single day. Cassian looked at both of them. When you learned to walk. First day of school. Birthdays. Holidays. Every milestone. I wondered if Zara was reaching it too. I was, Zara whispered. In foster homes that forgot my birthday. In shelters that didn't care. I know. And I will spend the rest of my life trying to make that right. You can't make it right. Zara's voice was steel wrapped in pain. 30 years don't erase. No. They don't. He pushed the box toward her. But maybe we can build something new. Not to replace what was lost. But to honor what survived. Zara pulled out Nadia's violin. The wood was dark, aged, beautiful. Your mother played this, Cassian said. Every night before bed. She said music was prayer without words. Zara touched the strings. They hummed under her fingertips. I don't know how to play. Neither did Lena. Until 3 months ago. He gestured to his daughter. She taught herself. From YouTube videos and stubbornness. Lena smiled weakly. I felt like I had to learn. Like something was missing if I didn't. Zara understood. The lullaby. The pendant, the violin. Pieces of a mother they'd never met but somehow knew. Teach me? Zara asked quietly. Lena's face lit up. Really? Together, that word again. Their anchor. Their promise. Cassian watched them, his daughters learning to be sisters. And for the first time in 30 years, he let himself believe in second chances. Lena's recovery moved like seasons changing, slowly, then suddenly, then slowly again. Week 1 after the DNA results. She held a spoon without dropping it. Week 2, she walked 5 steps before needing the wheelchair. Week 3, she stood at the window for 10 full minutes, watching the world that had continued without her. The doctors called it remarkable. Nurse Marta called it miraculous. Lena called it coming home. And every single day, Zara was there. The therapy room smelled of rubber mats and determination. Again, the therapist said gently. Lena gripped the parallel bars. Took a shaky step. Another. Her legs trembled but held. Zara walked beside her, just outside the bars. Matching her pace. Not helping. Just present. I've got you, Zara whispered. I know. Lena's voice strained with effort. I can feel you. Even when I can't see you. 6 steps. 7. 8. Then her knee buckled. Zara caught her before the therapist could. Held her up. Felt her sister's weight like it was the most natural thing in the world. I can't, Lena gasped, frustrated, tears falling. You just did 8 steps. Yesterday was 5. I used to play violin for hours. Now I can barely walk across a room. Zara tilted Lena's face up. 7 weeks ago, you couldn't open your eyes. Now you're walking. That's not failure. That's fighting. What if I never get back to who I was? Then you become someone new. Zara's voice was fierce. Someone stronger. Someone who survived. Lena stared at her sister, this girl who'd survived 16 years in foster care. Streets, winters without shelter, and understood, if Zara could rebuild from nothing, so could she. Again, Lena said, gripping the bars. Dr. Chen observed from the doorway, clipboard in hand. It's working, she told Nurse Marta quietly. What is? The twin connection. Watch. In the therapy room, Lena was struggling with a coordination exercise. Touching her nose with alternating hands. Her movements were jerky, uncoordinated. Zara began humming. The lullaby. Soft. Steady. Lena's movements smoothed. Her breathing regulated. Her hands found rhythm. Her neural pathways are rebuilding faster when Zara's present, Dr. Chen explained. The brain recognizes the twin connection and uses it as a template. It's like her nervous system remembers being synchronized. That's impossible, Marta whispered. 6 months ago, I would have agreed. Now? Dr. Chen watched Zara guide Lena through the exercise without touching her. Now I'm writing a paper on twin synchronicity and neurological recovery. Will she make a full recovery? Medically, she should have permanent deficits. Mobility issues. Cognitive delays. Dr. Chen smiled. But she has something most coma patients don't. What? A reason to come back. And someone who won't let her quit. The small victories accumulated, like raindrops filling a bowl. Lena brushed her own teeth. Wrote her name without help. Held the violin bow for 30 seconds before her hand cramped. Cassian documented each milestone in a journal. Not for lawyers or press releases. For them. So they'd never forget how far they'd come. Dad's being weird, Lena said, watching him photograph her standing unsupported. He's being a father, Zara corrected gently. Is that what this is? I think so. I'm still figuring it out too. Lena reached for Zara's hand. Thank you. For what? For not giving up on me. When you walked in here that first night, I was. She trailed off. I was gone. Ready to let go. But I heard you. Felt you. And something in me fought to come back. Zara's throat tightened. You called my name. Before you even knew me. I've always known you. I just didn't know I knew you. Lena squeezed her hand. You're the part of me that survived when I couldn't. No. You survived. I just reminded you how. 2 months after waking, Lena stood without support for 60 seconds. Then 90. Then 2 full minutes. The staff applauded. Cassian cried. Zara just smiled, quiet, proud. Present. That night, Lena asked for the violin. I want to try. Zara positioned it carefully. Helped her sister hold the bow. Together, they drew a single note across the strings. It was scratchy. Off-key. Beautiful. Again? Zara asked. Again. They played until their hands ached. Until the note became smoother. Until it almost sounded like music. And in the hallway, Nurse Marta recorded it on her phone. Not for the internet, for herself. Because some miracles are too quiet for headlines. But they matter most. The press conference was Cassian's idea. His lawyers hated it. His PR team called it unnecessary risk. But Zara had been right. Lawyers couldn't fix this. Only truth could. The venue wasn't Vale Industries headquarters. It was a community center in the neighborhood where Nadia grew up. Folding chairs. Local reporters. Foster care advocates in the front row. No podium, just a man with a microphone and 30 years of guilt. Cassian stepped to the front. Zara and Lena sat behind him. Together. A choice. My name is Cassian Vale. And I need to tell you about the worst decision I ever made. The room leaned in. 30 years ago, my wife died giving birth to twin daughters. Lena and Zara. His voice cracked on both names. The hospital had limited resources. The doctors said I had to choose which baby would receive intensive care. I chose Lena. And I let the system take Zara. Cameras flashed. Phones recorded. The world was watching. A social worker promised me Zara would be adopted. Loved. Safe. I believed her because I needed to believe her. Because the alternative that I'd condemned my daughter to suffer was unbearable. He paused. Breathed through the pain. 3 months later, I called to check on her. They told me she'd been adopted. That reopening the case would traumatize her. That I should move on. His hands shook. So I did. I moved on. Built a company. Raised Lena. And I told myself the lie was true. But it wasn't true. His voice broke completely. Zara spent 16 years in foster care. She was never adopted. Never safe. She survived on streets I was too comfortable to see. While I was building wealth, she was fighting to survive. Reporters shouted questions. He raised a hand. I'm not here for your questions. I'm here to apologize. Publicly. Completely. He turned to face Zara. I failed you. I chose comfort over courage. I let fear make my decisions. And you paid the price for 30 years. Zara's face remained carefully neutral. But her eyes glistened. No apology will give you back what you lost. No amount of money will erase those years. Cassian's voice steadied with purpose. But I can make sure your story saves others. He gestured to a screen. It lit up with a logo, the Zara Project No Child Lost. Effective immediately, I'm committing $500 million to reform foster care. Real-time tracking for every child. Mandatory 6-month follow-ups. Accountability for social workers who lie. And a hotline where kids can report abuse without fear. The room erupted in questions. We're also launching a legal team to help former foster kids access sealed records. To find their families. To get answers they deserve. He looked at Zara again. Because my daughter spent 30 years wondering why she wasn't worth keeping. And I will spend the rest of my life making sure no other child has to wonder that. The press left. The advocates stayed. Asking questions. Offering partnerships. Zara stood in the corner, watching it all. Lena wheeled over. You okay? I don't know what I am. Zara touched the pendant. He just committed $500 million to kids like me. Kids like us, Lena corrected. We both lost something. Different things. But we're both here now. An older woman approached. Former foster kid. Now a social worker. Thank you, she said to Zara, voice thick with emotion. For not staying silent. For making him see. I didn't do anything. You survived. That's everything. The woman pressed a card into her hand. If you ever want to talk to other survivors, you're not alone. Zara looked at the card. Then at the room full of people who understood. I know, she said softly. I'm starting to know. On the windshield of Cassian's car, an unmarked envelope. He opened it carefully. Inside, a photo, 2 women. One held a baby, the other held a violin. On the back, Nadia would be proud of what you're trying to become. Nurse Regina, he pressed it to his chest. In the distance, Zara and Lena were teaching each other to laugh. Really laugh. The kind that heals. Cassian watched them, his daughters, and understood, redemption isn't a moment. It's every moment that follows. The music room was small. Tucked away in the community center. No marble floors. No chandeliers. Just worn carpet, metal folding chairs, and light from windows that had seen decades of hope. The instructor was named Petra, the same volunteer who'd taught Zara to mend clothes in the group home years ago. You came back, Petra said, eyes shining. You said good hands remember. Zara held up her scarred palms. Let's see if you were right. Lena sat beside her, violin case on her lap like a promise. This was their choice. Not Cassian's money. Not media pressure. Theirs. Petra opened the case containing Nadia's violin. The wood glowed in afternoon light. Your mother played this for 10 years. Every day. Through joy. Through grief. She looked at both sisters. It knows your family's heartbeat. She placed it in Lena's hands first. You've held it before? Once. Before the accident. Lena's fingers trembled on the neck. I was learning. Then, everything stopped. Nothing stops. It just waits. Petra adjusted Lena's grip. The body remembers. Trust it. Lena drew the bow across strings. The note came out scratchy, uncertain. But it came. Good. Again. Another note. Smoother this time. Now you. Petra handed the second violin to Zara, one from the center's donated instruments. Scratched. Used. Loved. Zara held it like it might break. Or bite. I don't know anything about music. You know the most important thing. Petra tapped Zara's chest. You know how to feel. Music is just feeling, that learned language. She guided Zara's hands. Adjusted the bow grip. Positioned the violin. Now. Play the lullaby. I don't know how. Your hands do. Trust them. Zara closed her eyes. Hummed the 3 notes first. Then moved the bow. The sound that emerged was raw. Imperfect. Real. But it was the lullaby. Lena's eyes widened. She joined in, hesitant, searching for harmony. 2 instruments. 2 voices. Finding each other through sound. Petra stepped back, tears on her face. That's it. That's the lesson. You don't play alone. You play together. He hadn't planned to come. Told himself they needed space. But he couldn't stay away. He stood outside the music room, watching through the small window. His daughters. Playing their mother's song. Building something new from broken pieces. Dr. Okonkwo found him there. You're lurking. I'm observing. You're hiding. She stood beside him. Afraid to go in. Afraid I'll ruin it. This is theirs. Not mine. Maybe it's all of yours. If you let it be. Inside, Zara laughed when her bow slipped. Lena showed her how to hold it steady. The sound of their voices teaching, learning, trusting filled the hallway. I don't know how to be their father, Cassian admitted. I missed 30 years with one. Nearly lost the other. How do I? You show up. Every lesson. Every milestone. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Dr. Okonkwo's voice was firm. You don't get to opt out because you're uncomfortable. They don't want me there. Ask them. Give them the choice you didn't give them 30 years ago. The lesson ended. Zara and Lena packed their instruments carefully. Cassian knocked. Entered. How was it? He asked. Voice careful. Hard. Good. Zara met his eyes. Petra says we have potential. Your mother would be proud. Silence. Then. Do you want to watch? Next week? Lena asked. Our lesson? Cassian's breath caught. I'd like that. Not to take over, Zara added quickly. Not to fix anything. Just. To be there. Just to be there, he repeated. I can do that. Lena smiled. Okay. Tuesday. 4 o'clock. Don't be late. I won't. As they left, Petra pulled Cassian aside. She mends, Petra said quietly. What? Zara. She mends broken things. Clothes. People. Now music, Petra's eyes were knowing. Give her time. She'll mend this too. But you have to let her do it her way. Zara sat on the porch, violin beside her. Stars overhead. City sounds distant. Her phone buzzed. Lena. My fingers hurt. Is that normal? Zara smiled. Yes. It means you're building something. Calluses? Strength. See you Tuesday. Together. Zara picked up the violin. Played one note. Then another. The lullaby was still rough. Still learning. But it was theirs now. All 3 of them. A family in 4 to 4 time. Forgiveness arrived in fragments. Not a flood. A slow thaw. It came when Cassian remembered Zara took her coffee black and had it waiting. When Zara texted Lena a meme at 2 a.m. and got an immediate laugh emoji response. When Lena invited them both to her physical therapy session not to witness struggle, but to celebrate 5 minutes on a treadmill. Small tendrils. Growing toward light. Zara still lived in the guest house. Not ready for the main residence. Not ready for that much proximity. But she came for dinner now. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Sometimes Saturdays if Lena begged. Tonight, Cassian was cooking. Badly. Dad, the pasta is literally dissolving. Lena called from her wheelchair at the table. It's al dente. It's mush. Zara peered into the pot. It's trying. Like all of us, Cassian said, dumping the disaster into a strainer. They ordered pizza instead. And somehow, that failure felt more like family than perfection ever could. It arrived by courier. Thick. Expensive paper. Addressed to both sisters. They opened it together at the kitchen table. Cassian hovered nearby, uncertain if he should stay or leave. Stay, Zara said quietly. You're part of this now. Inside, a letter. Long. Handwritten. Dear Lena and Zara, I don't deserve your forgiveness. I'm not asking for it. I just need you to know the truth. Your mother was my best friend. My little sister. When she died, something in me broke. I looked at you two tiny babies fighting for life and all I saw was the sister I'd lost. I couldn't bear it. The nurses told me you might not survive. I believed them because it was easier than staying. Easier than watching you die, too. I was wrong. I was a coward. And I've spent 30 years trying to outrun that guilt. I'm not asking to be part of your lives. I don't deserve that. But I'm funding 10 scholarships through the Zara Project. For foster kids who age out, who need someone to believe in them. It won't fix what I did, but maybe it will honor what you survived. Your aunt, Elena. Silence filled the kitchen. She's funding scholarships, Lena said softly. It doesn't change what she did, Zara replied. No. But it's something. Zara folded the letter carefully. I'm not ready to see her. Neither am I. Lena reached for her hand. But maybe someday. If we decide we want to. Together. Always. Forgiveness isn't binary, the therapist explained. It's not I forgive you or I don't. It's a spectrum. And you get to decide where you land. Every day. Zara sat between Cassian and Lena. A triangle that was slowly becoming a circle. Some days I'm angry at him, Zara admitted, not looking at Cassian. Some days I understand. Most days I'm both. That's allowed, Dr. Okonkwo said. And some days, Zara continued, voice cracking, I'm angry at myself. For wanting this. For wanting a father. A family. Things I told myself I'd never have. Why does wanting make you angry? Because wanting means I can lose it again. Cassian's hand moved slightly toward her. Stopped. Waited. Zara saw the gesture. The restraint. The respect. She reached across the space. Took his hand. Didn't let go. I'm still angry, she said. I know, Cassian whispered. But I'm also here. Thank you. Lena placed her hand on top of theirs. 3 hands. One choice. We're all here, she said. And that's enough. For now. The community center filled with folding chairs and borrowed hope. Zara and Lena stood at the front. Violins in hand. Matching scars behind their ears catching stage light. Petra introduced them. These sisters learned music the same way they found each other. Through love. Through persistence. Through refusing to give up. The first note trembled. Together. The lullaby. The one their mother sang before they were born. The one that had called them back to each other. It wasn't perfect. Zara's bow slipped twice. Lena's fingers cramped near the end. But it was theirs. In the audience, Cassian wept openly. Not from guilt, from gratitude. Nurse Marta recorded it on her phone. For the hospital. For history. For proof that broken things can be made whole. Detective Farouk sat in the back, arms crossed, fighting a smile. His case was closed. But this was better than justice. This was restoration. When the final note faded, the room erupted. Not for perfection. For survival. For courage. For two girls who'd lost 30 years and found each other anyway. 1 year after the barefoot girl walked into room 407. The guest house was empty now. Zara had moved into the main house 3 months ago. Her room overlooked the garden where Nadia used to plant roses. She kept the pendant on her nightstand. The split blanket folded at the foot of her bed. Reminders of what was lost. And what was found. Zara woke to violin music drifting through the hallway. Lena, practicing in the music room Cassian had built. Not the lullaby this time. Something new. Something Lena was composing. Zara grabbed her own violin. Joined her sister without knocking. They played together. No words needed. Just two instruments finding harmony the way their hearts had learned to beat in sync. When they finished, Lena turned, grinning. I think I'm getting good at this. You've always been good. You're just remembering how. We both are. Cassian had learned to cook. Sort of. The eggs were only slightly burned. Progress, Zara said, taking a bite. I'll take it. He poured coffee. 3 cups. The ritual they'd built over months of trying. The Zara project is launching the 10th shelter today, he said. In Detroit. Would you want to come? Cut the ribbon? Zara hesitated. Public appearances still felt strange. Like wearing someone else's skin. You don't have to. Lena said quickly. But it might be good. For the kids. To see someone who survived. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. Cassian met her eyes. You get to choose. Always. The word always still carried weight. But less than before. Room 407 was empty now. Lena had been discharged months ago. But Nurse Marta had kept it unassigned. A quiet memorial to the impossible. Zara and Lena stood in the doorway together. Hard to believe it started here, Lena whispered. You were dying. I was lost. Now we're here. Do you ever wonder what would have happened? If you hadn't come that night. Zara touched the crescent scar behind her ear. I don't think I had a choice. Something pulled me here. To you. Twin telepathy? Maybe. Or maybe just love we didn't know we were carrying. They walked to the window where Zara had stood that first night. Rain had been falling then. Today, sun broke through clouds. I forgive him, Lena said suddenly. Dad. For choosing me. I know that's complicated. But I do. I'm getting there, Zara admitted. Some days faster than others. That's okay. We have time now. Zara smiled. Yeah. We do. They visited Nadia's grave together. All 3 of them. Fresh flowers already there. Elena had been coming. Weekly. Never when they were there. Respecting their space while holding her own grief. Hi, Mom, Lena said softly, kneeling. Zara knelt beside her. First time she'd called Nadia that. Hi. Cassian stood back. Giving them the moment. We learned your song, Lena continued. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. I wish we'd known you. We did, Zara said. For 3 weeks. Before everything. You sang to us. We heard you. She placed her hand on the stone. Felt the warmth of sun-heated granite. Thank you, she whispered. For the song. For the connection. For making sure we'd find each other. Even if it took 30 years. Lena leaned her head on Zara's shoulder. We're okay, Mom. We're going to be okay. The new music school opened in the neighborhood where Zara had once slept in. Doorways. The Nadia Vale Center for Music and Healing. Free lessons. Donated instruments. A place where foster kids could learn that broken things make the most beautiful sounds. Zara and Lena stood at the entrance, violins in hand, about to play the dedication piece. Cassian watched from the crowd. Proud. Humbled. Still learning. Ready? Lena asked. Zara looked at her sister. At the building that bore their mother's name, at the kids waiting inside who needed to know survival was possible. Together? Always. They lifted their instruments. Began to play. Not the lullaby this time, their own composition, born from pain. Shaped by healing. Played in perfect harmony. And in the music, something ancient and new, two heartbeats that had never really been separate. Two souls learning what it means to come home. A song that would never truly be finished because the best songs never are. They just keep being sung. By people who refuse to stop fighting. By sisters who found each other in the dark. And chose, every day, to stay.